Good evening, and thank you for joining me. Right now, we have quite a bit to talk about, especially for Tuesday. There's going to be a severe weather outbreak in the south, especially eastern Texas, Houston, Shreveport, Texarkana, Lufkin, and Nacogdoches, Texas, are going to have, again, threat of severe weather Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. However, the worst day looks to be Wednesday for parts of Louisiana. That's a elevated risk of tornadoes here in northeast, far eastern Texas and central Louisiana. I mean, this is really concerning. Wow. This is going into Gonzales. Wow, this is, well, near Gonzales, near Baton Rouge. Johnny, if you're watching this, Wednesday could be a really bad day for you. So you might be careful on Wednesday. Looks like you're gonna have a squall line. It looks like your threat will be a squall line type. But this is the 18Z. So it remains to be seen if it's going to be really bad or if it's just going to be lackluster. But something's telling me that this could be a pretty significant event on Tuesday and Wednesday. So this is going to be a Tuesday to Wednesday event for Louisiana and eastern Texas. Looks like Dallas is going to get some severe weather Tuesday night. And some stuff on Wednesday, but the worst stuff is most likely going to be in Louisiana. At least that's what it looks like right now. Storm Prediction Center already put out a day 7 15%, a wide 15% for eastern Texas, south central, most of Arkansas, and central Louisiana. Even parts of Oklahoma, day 6, day 7. So this is very concerning. I believe they based this on the 12Z run of the GFS. This is why they put out so day 6 is actually 5 days from, well, day 4 is actually so day 3, that's, so day 1 is always tonight, day 2, that's tomorrow. So this is looking at today, this is looking at tomorrow, this is looking at the day after tomorrow, this is looking at day 3, day 4, day 5. So this is 5 days from now. So this is going to be 5 days from today. This is looking at, I believe this is looking at Tuesday, and this is Wednesday. See, Monday valid 0Z Monday. So this is, see, Tuesday into Wednesday. So this is Tuesday going into Wednesday. See, this is Monday afternoon looking into Tuesday afternoon. See? So this is Monday into Tuesday. What they're showing is this right here, Monday going into Tuesday, but it looks like this is going to be mostly a Tuesday event. They may also have to put out a day 8 as well, because what I'm seeing right now here definitely looks pretty concerning. I don't see anyone in the live chat at the moment, but very concerning severe weather event for Tuesday and Wednesday for Texas and Louisiana and parts of Arkansas. Looks like the biggest threat for Arkansas is going to be Tuesday and Wednesday for southern Arkansas. And there will be some severe weather going into Nebraska and Kansas. Kansas, there's Kansas, here's Nebraska. There's going to be some severe weather. This is looking at hour 141. So it's some stuff can still change. This is looking at convective precipitation. So looking at 3 kilometer helicity, which is showing how much spin there is in the atmosphere, showing some higher helicity values as you're having southwest winds aloft, while at the surface, the winds will be from the south. So you're going to have a southerly wind flow. South to southeast winds. And surface temperatures would be in the 60s here, so this will definitely support some severe weather. So looking at mid-level lapse rates, probably be elevated there. You see some elevated lapse rates here, very high here. Wow, that looks exciting for hour 99. That's some pretty strong elevated lapse rates. And looking at the polar vortex, looks like a lot of it's going to be coming down. So looking at North America, here's a tropical disturbance in the Atlantic right now. Do we have a named storm yet? Still 60%. Invest 99. Still hasn't been designated as a tropical storm. And heavy rainfall across the south. As it tries to become Owen, yep. Yep, so here's the negative NAO right here. You can see that high pressure system here. Definitely looks exciting next few weeks, according to this run of the GFS. Looking at the 12Z, it just looks bonkers. So, also some very exciting stuff has been happening at the Campi Flegrei volcano. But I'm going to get to that in a minute. What I really want to talk about for now is the weather. The North Atlantic Oscillation is what I really want to discuss. Right now the NAO is negative, but it's going to be trending to neutral. This is when usually a lot of storms occur, when it does those kind of, going from negative to neutral. And all right, okay. Okay, so let's see where the microphone is. Apparently I just got a notification that someone can't hear me. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right, so looking at PNA, models are showing it trending to positive. Some are trending into positive. However, some are disagreeing, are showing a negative trend right here. However, most of the models, most of the ensembles are showing a positive trend. This is the GFS ensembles. So, so the PNA is going to be going to positive. So, anyway, my internet connection kind of sucks. So, all right. It's weird. Doesn't say anyone's watching. Okay, 2 concurrent viewers. All right. So the PNA is going positive, or trending positive, from negative to neutral. So what the PNA is, a negative PNA means cold weather going into the west coast and Alaska, warmer weather on the east coast. Neutral or positive, especially coupled with a negative Arctic oscillation, which we're having right now, means we're going to have very cold weather in the east coast. And we are having a negative AO, which means the polar vortex is very disrupted. You're not having a strong polar vortex. In fact, many pieces are breaking off. And this will mean a lot of cold weather coming into the United States. Look at that. Ooh, wow. This is bad news for Texas, that's for sure, if that indeed happens. But 18Z run shows a different trend, but still. Wow. That is cold weather. Well, looking at 2,000 feet, that is. So, yeah. Basically, Arctic outbreaks are possible. Wow. Nebraska. Let's look at Kansas, actually. -30. Wow. But, of course, that's 2 weeks out, but still. Wow. Anyway, this is what happens when the AO goes negative. You want to know what's causing that? Let's look at ocean temperatures, especially with all that warm water in the Atlantic. Yep. Classic cold PDO. Cold water here, warm water here. If you want to know what the PDO is, that's a Pacific Decadal Oscillation. The AMO, or the Atlantic Multi-Decadal Oscillation, is in its warm phase. Normally, when the Atlantic is in its warm phase, you have increased hurricanes in the Atlantic and nor'easters going up the East Coast. It varies year to year, but with each phase, whether it be cold or warm, it's warming with each phase because of climate change. Right now, our CO2 concentration in the Earth has surpassed 420 parts per million as of earlier this year. Every year we're setting new records with CO2 concentration in the atmosphere because of our activities. This is very unfortunate, and not much is being done. Like, oh, we're going electric, but we need to do more than just go green. We need to also look for other forms of energy, such as nuclear and especially thorium. But here I'm focusing on the weather. So the AO is negative. That's also bad news for Arctic sea ice, because if you want strong Arctic sea ice, you want a positive AO, which would trap all the cold air in the Arctic. This will basically disrupt the polar vortex. This is showing that the polar vortex will be very disrupted. So this is what a disrupted polar vortex looks like. Looking 850 millibars, which is 5,000 feet. You see how the Arctic has some pretty warm temperatures. I mean, look at that, -4 Celsius. That's really warm, 5,000 feet. And then it's just really broken. This is how it all happened as the AO started going negative. This happened because the NAO was going negative, so started getting all this warm air coming from the Atlantic, flooding into the Arctic. So basically, this is what happened. And as Alaska gets warm, as you have all this warm air going to Alaska, all that cold air has to flood down into the United States. And then boom. This is only one possibility. This very well may not even happen at all, because this morning's run had all the Arctic air staying north. And so did last night's run as well. So, yeah, I mean, a lot can happen between now and December 23rd, 24th. So, all this forecast for cold Arctic air may not even happen. It's just a possibility. This is what you're looking at is the operational run of the GFS. It's not the only run. As you know, you have the ensembles. You have different members of the GFS. That's why it's GEFS, which is Global Ensemble Forecast System. GFS stands for Global Forecast System or Global Forecast Service. It's actually, while the GEFS is Global Ensemble Forecast System, while the S in GFS stands for System, Global Forecast System. But on a more interesting note, from a geological standpoint, Campi Flegrei, the caldera in Italy, which is actually even more dangerous than Vesuvius, had basically a harmonic tremor type earthquake, had a very volcanic earthquake. Most of the earthquakes at Campi Flegrei lately have been tectonic in nature, caused by the uplift putting pressure on the regional faults. Like, that's a volcanic tectonic earthquake caused by uplift putting pressure on the regional faults. This quake here is more of a swarm type. This is more of a swarm. Took place between 2156 and 2133. So basically over 7 minutes, you had an earthquake swarm. Very potent one at that. When I mean potent, this is probably magnitude 1. Why was it potent? Because it was, you see how quick it was in succession. And no, the volcano isn't due to erupt any time. It's not going to go off. The volcano is simply recharging itself. Okay. Believable. Anyway, Campi Flegrei is not overdue for an eruption. There we go. Yeah, ringer was on too high. So this volcano is a living, breathing caldera, basically. It inflates and deflates itself over time. But lately, it's been undergoing a very worrying trend. I have some stuff to show you guys. This volcano, in the last several years, has uplifted several feet. Not because of an eruption, but because of pressure. I don't know why. It must be a problem with the microphone. Let me try. Let me just listen to myself for a second. Not because of an eruption, but because of pressure. I don't know why. It must be a problem with the microphone. Let me try. Let me just listen to myself for a second. Let's see what. I think I know what the problem is. Okay, so I'm speaking right into the microphone right now. So hopefully that will make things a little better. Let me just desktop audio. Okay, hopefully that'll be a little better. Anyway, this volcano has been overdue, not overdue, oh my god. All right, let's see. Okay, I just need a minute. Hold on. Alrighty, I'm just looking. There we go. There we go. Found it. So here we're looking at the earthquakes here. Red means earthquakes for this week, between 2 and 3 kilometers deep. Some are under a kilometer, but the stronger quakes are between 1.8 and 2.8 kilometers deep, with the deepest being close to 3 kilometers. Strongest quakes were 3 2.0s that occurred within several minutes of each other. 2.5, a 2.2, and a 2.0 that occurred all within several minutes of one another. It was an earthquake swarm that occurred. So the first quake was 2:34 a.m. local time, while the last quake was 2:36 a.m. local time. So they all occurred. All these 4 quakes occurred literally within 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes within each other. I was looking on the seismogram on the web recorder. I was looking on this that day, and it really happened. It was really like they were basically like this. They were all together. It's pretty insane to watch. And the uplift at Campi Flegrei this year has been really impressive. 12 centimeters of uplift so far, and we still have almost a month to go before the new year. So, very impressive. The uplift is still accelerating in Campi Flegrei. So, 95.5 centimeters since January of 2011, and 11.5 centimeters of uplift since January 2022. Since January 2022, we already have 11.5 centimeters, so we're almost at 12 already. So the station GNSS is measuring the deformation of Campi Flegrei. So between 12 to 18 days. Okay. I'm able to understand a few words in Italian because it is a Romance language. And here's the uplift rate here. But now let's change gears and look at severe weather again. You know, I just wanted to point that out that we're having some pretty impressive uplift at this super volcano. But its last supervolcanic eruption was 40,000 years ago, when the Campanian Ingenbreit eruption happened. Ingenbreit is basically welded ash that when a pyroclastic flow is so hot that the ash is welded into a form of igneous rock known as Ingenbreit or welded tuff. And then 15,000 years ago, there was another eruption called the Neapolitan Yellow Tuff eruption, which was around the same strength as the 1815 eruption that caused a year without a summer. It wasn't a supervolcanic eruption. But it was much more powerful than the eruption of or was as powerful as the 1815 eruption that caused a year without a summer. Or as some people used to call it, 1800 and froze to death. It's another term that they use for that year. In fact, Campi Flegrei gave birth to Mount Vesuvius. Mount Vesuvius is not an older volcano. It's actually a newer volcano that only formed in the last 20,000 years. Campi Flegrei has been erupting for hundreds of thousands, many tens of thousands of years, even possibly over 100,000 years. But right now, let's look at the weather pattern for next week. Definitely looks impressive, especially for the Northeast. Yeah, this live stream is done. I'm done with this. I'm going to restart it. Congrats!